Mr. Craig Brockie, what an honor to have you here at our in our studio. You are a huge inspiration in terms of your sales and your success on Amazon. So I just wanted to bring people like yourself on to share your experience, and we'll talk about it, because the average American or anybody that lives in this planet, seeing your story, I think, can be inspired like I was. So welcome.
All right. Good to be here. Thanks very much. I know we both got started on Amazon around the same time, and you've grown by leaps and bounds. In fact, the trajectory you're on is just, faster growth than anything I've seen. So.
Yeah, we're trying for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that just so you guys know, I guess we're just talking right before this, and that's 2015. Is that when you started? When did you start?
May of 2015. I've been doing online marketing for a couple decades prior to that.
Couple decades. Wow.
I mean, I started in the late 90s doing search engine optimization.
Okay.
And that really helps with Amazon. So if you have any kind of SEO background or you're interested in that at all, it really carries over well to Amazon.
Yeah. Interesting. So decades. Wow, that's so late 90s, so like 1998 or something like that.
96 is when I really got started doing websites for companies. Okay. And then I found that if companies were not getting traffic from the search engines, they weren't very happy. So we were forced into figuring out how the search engines operated. And then we got really heavy into that up until about 2005.
Interesting. Wow. So that's a lot of stuff. And so what did you learn from that, doing that? I mean, again, I have little understanding about that, but
what you learn from doing search optimization is that these search engines, including Amazon's search engines, they're not human driven. I mean, there's a human programming that, but at the end of the day, it's a program or algorithm making the decisions on what goes at the top and what goes wherever. So you really want to be analyzing the things that are up at the top of the list and trying to determine what's common about these things that are up at the top of the list. Looking for patterns, and then doing your own testing to see what is going to be effective to stay up there.
Interesting.
Or get yourself in there in the first place.
Interesting.
Back in the 90s, it was super easy because there was really basic things that could get you right to the top of the list on, say, Yahoo or Google.
Yeah. It was like that at the beginning of Amazon, too, I think. It was kind of relatively simple.
Right.
In terms of... So what kind of thing used to work?
Well, what I noticed was we used to do hunting and fishing lodges up in Canada.
Okay.
And I noticed this guy, he would put really tiny code right at the top of his web pages. And then I analyzed that code, and he was using what's called a headline tag, which is kind of like in a newspaper, they have headlines.
Yeah.
And the search engine would put more emphasis on the headlines than they would on regular text. And that may still have some impact today. But even back then, what we used to do is take text that was almost hidden and put headline text right at the top of the page. Is just a simple hack. Yeah,
you hide it. I mean, you may or may not know, but I came from a computer development or software development background, so I know, like, you could put text and make it look white, or make it literally almost no size, or even hide it from the visible page, and then Google theoretically would still be able to see that back in the day or whatever.
Right. I'm gonna drop a little bomb here
for you, let's do it.
So there's a bit of a hack for Amazon actually too. That I'm not going to go into specific details, but in some categories of Amazon, you can have your titles, like you can have what's called a parent, and that holds all the variations together, so color variations.
Yeah.
So there's a way in some categories where you can actually have the title that's on the parent to be different than the variations, and each variation can have a different title. And there's a way in some categories where you can have the parent title look very attractive and appealing, so in the search results it looks what you'd want to click on. It doesn't look like keyword stuff. And then you can put your child titles to have more keywords in them, and that people don't really see those titles so much until they add it to the cart, for instance.
And so that, because I know, for example, for like the categories that I'm mostly in, that when you go to the detail page, the actual page, you see only the child title.
Right. In some categories, for some reason, you see only the parent title.
Really?
The details page.
Okay.
Right. It's not till you add the product to the cart that you actually see what the child title is.
Oh, interesting.
So that gives you a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, like little tricks. Okay. I know in what I saw recently, and this changed probably 6 months ago, on the pages where it shows all the bestsellers, that used to have one of the child's titles.
Okay.
And I think 6 months ago, or whatever, it was somewhat recent, it was in the last year for sure, they changed it where the parent title now is the one that shows up on these bestseller pages.
Okay.
And you would see, no joke, I would see some of the competitors, like even in the top 5, be like, you know, whatever. Let's say we're talking about the window cleaner, or like let's say spatula. So it'll be like spatula parent title, right? And and because nobody saw it before. So if you weren't on top of it, it would literally show like parent title or just a random blob of stuff that wasn't for the customer. So that's some kind of.
We're probably getting a little too tech.
No, it's okay. This is meant for people. This is meant for Amazon guys. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. So and I think that's a key thing, because if for people, if whoever's listening, like, I know a change that you can do is make your parent title. You should make it look pretty. Because it does show up in some cases, although you may not know it.
And it does not, the parent title does not impact the search results. So you might as well make it really appealing, especially if it's going to show up on bestseller lists and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And then the other thing I noticed we had a problem where on the bestsellers, we have a few bestsellers on Amazon. And
this guy, hello. Okay.
Anyway, what we were finding is that the variation or the color variation that was coming up in those bestseller lists was not the best seller of our colors. So what we realized is that it's actually displayed alphabetically.
Yes.
So originally we had this black and white version, and that's our worst seller. But because it started with a B, it was showing up in all the results. So we had to really figure out what's going on here. And then we ended up with our red and blue. We used to call the red and blue a blue and red.
Yeah.
So we just switched it to red and blue. Sorry.
Yeah, red and blue switched to blue and red, so the B is ahead of the black.
And now the
black, blue. No, you change it. Okay, you change it.
The black and white is now white and black.
So
okay. So that makes our blue and red, which is our best seller, show up in those lists.
Absolutely. We pay attention to that as well. And what we'll do is, so like the black, if we don't want to show up, we say like jet black.
Yes.
Or like very black or something like that, you know, and then it doesn't show up, but that's a good thing. Some people don't pay attention.
Right. We didn't even know that at first until we were like really frustrated with our worst sellers showing up on these bestseller lists.
That's a good tip. I think a lot of people don't pay attention. And so I also find, and I will get back to, I want to see the SEO trajectory and how you transitioned, but I just want to mention that a big difference I see with guys, you know, selling a lot, like yourself, a lot of other people that I know that are selling, you know, in the many millions, that you look, right? There's a difference, because some people will be like, okay, well, we're not selling. I don't know why. They didn't realize that their image had been changed by somebody, or they didn't realize that their title has a bunch of typos, or they didn't realize that, you know, all their reviews are bad because some competitor upvoted all their reviews.
Right.
Or their question answers was like, why is this made in China? I don't know. And so just looking is something that I've noticed that makes a huge difference in somebody who succeeds or not.
Right. I think a lot of sellers, especially if Amazon's not their main game, they don't pay enough attention to the listing. So they might have like the top reviews look crappy, and for some reason people have voted up a 1-star review right at the top of the list. And that's what people are saying day in and day out when they're considering their purchase. You know, these are real basics for like anyone who's been around Amazon for a while, but but someone who's not focused on Amazon and just happens to throw the product up there, there's all kinds of problems.
And people just get confused. They're like, I don't know why it's not selling. I go, have you looked, and back to the Google thing you're saying, you look at the top guys, why they're ranking.
Right.
Have you looked at your competition and yours? I'm like, just look, just sit. And I've done this with people. Even I one specific person I have in mind, he has a company that's doing in retail like over $10 million.
Wow. And
they put their stuff on Amazon, like, our Amazon stuff doesn't sell very well. It's like, come and help me. So I go and I'm like, okay. And I saw it was like really bad. Like the images were really bad, like tiny and scrunched, didn't have zoom, like bad photography. And I go, okay, why don't you look at this page and look at this page and tell me what you see. After that, he was like, wow, Aaron, you're so good on Amazon. I'm like, all I did was show him the competition, show him his. So anyway, it's just a note.
Yeah, it goes without saying your images need to be better. What we leverage a lot is video. We get someone to shoot a really good video for us, professionally done. It's not that expensive, $1,500 to $2,500 per video. Yeah. But it adds so much more value. You can run advertising with those videos. And, you know, there's a lot of opportunity there that a lot of competitors just aren't taking advantage. I did want to go back to the variation point of view, because Aaron and I both really hammer variations really hard. Like if you're selling a great red one, why not get a really good blue one? We get a good green one, and another white one, and then why not a red, white, and blue? We're in America after.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should. I mean, that's a great thing. And so, one thing that's interesting about that is, you need to give people a reason to buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the only person that has whatever product with a flag on it,
Right.
you're gonna get some patriotic people that
Right.
want to buy it, and you're doing a service. If you
Right.
do the same product that everybody else has in the same color, what you're not really doing a service. You're just
Mm-hmm.
they roll the dice and they buy from you, they buy from the other guy. So,
Right. I think you and I are both like this. We want to really differentiate our products from the competitors. So if this model is really common, we want to be that model plus other things and maybe look different, maybe get a design patent so no one else can come in with that specific look.
Yeah.
To really protect that corner of the market.
Yeah. Have you filed for patents?
Yes, design patents.
Oh, good.
Yep. I mean, and then the other thing we've run into issues with utility patents where we had an infringement. Someone was claiming that we were infringing on their patent, so we had to actually redesign our product to get away from that and make sure that we didn't have to pay royalties.
Did Amazon shut you down for that or no?
Fortunately, we did not. We were able to keep going the whole time, which was a good leverage point.
What year was this?
That was 2018, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in case there's a little secret program you may not know about, or maybe you do, I don't know, but it's basically called a utility. I forget it now. It's a utility design patent arbitration. I forget the name now. It used
with Amazon.
Yeah, with Amazon, and it came out really last year, 2019, and so now you will get shut down for utility patents.
Wow.
Like 2 years ago, you had a utility patent,
Right.
The lawyers would have to get you shut down.
Right.
Amazon would not get involved, but they have this new program where they do arbitration.
Wow.
So basically, and if you're interested, I mean, you could maybe comment or do something like reach out, and I'll send you the link to it. It's kind of secret. You have to have a rep in Amazon. They send you a file and you fill it in, and basically what happens is you pay Amazon like $2,500, and then they then review it and they say, okay, all the guys who you're accusing, they then have to put up $2,500 as well if they want to defend.
Wow.
Then you both go to an arbitration, and whoever wins gets the other bit of that money. Something like that. The lawyer keeps one amount, and then you get your money back. The lawyer keeps, the $2,500. You get $2,500. The person who loses that money permanently, and then you can shut them down up to like 50 or 100 ASINs at one time.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's
so definitely. Before we go into a new market, right now we're looking at a product, and the number one seller is patented. Okay. So we hired a lawyer to say, hey, let's look at this utility patent, because one thing you need to know about patents is they're very, very specific. So if it says it does 4 things, and yours does a 5th thing, or they don't offend any one of these things, I don't know. It's just very, very specific. You really have to paint.
Not legal advice, guys. This is Craig's opinion.
Right.
This is not legal advice, so you need to check with the lawyer. This is not legal advice. Okay,
right. But anyway, it's not this broad thing. It's a very, very specific thing what you patented for. So if you can work outside that box, you can do a competitive product. And a lot of people don't put the time into thinking. That doesn't mean that the company can't still go after you and try and shut you down.
Sure.
But technically speaking, you can be outside the patent.
Yeah. And so back to this arbitration deal is where they will have a person decide, and you basically say, I'm not going to sue them. I'm going to let Amazon decide. That lawyer, you have 2 chances of giving them information, and they're going to decide, and that's the end of your fate.
Wow.
And that's it. Either you win or you lose, and you sign away. You're not going to you're going to accept Amazon's choice. So it's a little bit. It's kind of
the Amazon platform.
Yeah, you may even say you're not suing them. No. You can still sue them after, but you can't sue Amazon for making a wrong choice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems pretty fair.
It's pretty fair. It's pretty fair.
Because the other way it was, like if you had a utility patent, and there was someone breaking your patent or infringing on your patent, it was really hard to get them enforced, right?
Yeah.
You had to have really deep pockets, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get someone shut down.
Yeah, and with the lawyers.
Right.
That happened to us. I mean, we got attacked. Not attacked. I mean, we really were infringing unknowingly, and then anyway, we settled in the end, but they were unable to shut us down. If that were to happen today, and they know about this thing, we would get shut down, and then they negotiate, which puts the rights owner in a better position, of course, to negotiate.
Right. So I think both of us are examples of people that have been accused of patent infringement and come out of it really well. Like we end up redesigning our product and came out with, instead of having a Me Too product that looks like everybody else's, we have this very unique one. We got a design patent on that, so no one else can look like us, and we're the best seller of that product now. Now you worked out a deal.
We worked out a deal because at the time I was like, I got my baby. I got a baby on the way. This is all my ink. Anyway, I told him the truth. I was freaked out. But at the beginning, the lawyers made us fight. I'm not getting into my story. This is, but yeah.
It can go either way. You can either work out a deal with the utility owner. The patent owner, and pay them like a licensing fee. Or you can just redesign your product, or you can fight it outright and just say, no, we're not infringing you. And
that's very costly.
Right.
So, okay. So now back to kind of, so you were an SEO, you learned some stuff, you did that. How did you actually get into Amazon? Like you would say, hey, I'm going to do Amazon one day. What was that like?
Well, in 2015, I knew these people from our church. And they happened to be selling on Amazon. And it turns out that they were selling a product I'd never heard of before. And they had no previous e-commerce experience or online marketing experience. So they're total newbies. They just did this online course telling them how to do it. And within like a year or so, they were really killing it and making really good money.
How much is really killing it?
Well, at that time, I'm not sure what they were making, honestly. Okay. To me, it seemed like they were doing great.
Right.
And it was with an obscure product that I'd never even heard of before.
So now you're sitting there. You have SEO experience. You know algorithms. You know Google. You know websites. And somebody with no computer experience is smoking it and making more than you're making at that time.
Right. At that time, I was doing something called online reputation management, where you're trying to help people keep the results on Google look good. So if you have a negative thing show up, you either hire a lawyer to try and get rid of it, or you put up good publicity to try and push down the bad stuff.
Yes.
And that was a really tough game, and I was doing okay with it. It sort of pulled on my past experience with search engine optimization, but it wasn't an easy game. To actually get results was difficult.
Google's like a crazy thing to try to manipulate.
It's a moving target also. Anyway, so then I heard about this Amazon thing. I was like, wow, that sounds like a great opportunity. So we jumped right on it. And my wife actually did the course at first while I was still doing the online reputation management stuff. And then we got our first product source, and we don't even sell that product again. So that's another thing. Yeah. So this is an example, like your first product can be a failure. And it doesn't.
Was it always a fit? Like, did you make money and then it became unprofitable, or was it never profitable?
It only did well at Christmas, believe it or not.
Was it? But okay, so you made it. And it got up right around Christmas, or when did you first start selling it?
I think we kept it for 2 Christmases.
Okay.
Because it was positioned well for some Christmas-related keywords.
And, 2015 you start. So is that, like, you launched it probably January, March, like?
I think we started the course in May, and we were selling a product by, I think, July even.
Okay.
And then we had a second product going by August.
Oh, wow. That's pretty aggressive.
Yeah. But then we kind of sat there, and the only thing we did was color variations from that point forward. Okay. Until 2016, we got a whole new line of products going.
Yeah.
And those have been our main ones to date. I did want to talk about variations a little bit more.
Okay, sure.
So here's one of the biggest mistakes I see sellers do when they have variations, is that they'll put pretty much the same content in terms of keywords in the titles, descriptions, it's hard to see people's, bullet points.
Yep.
The description now is usually covered over by
with the enhanced content, or whatever. A plus, now it's called A plus.
A plus content. So you can't actually see someone's description anymore.
No, you can't. Yeah, that's right.
But as far as I can tell, it's still indexed by the search engine.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect example of the description area. I believe it's 2,000 characters.
Yeah, it's pretty large.
Where you can put all different keywords across your variations. So
have you done testing and seen that it's indexing now, or you're kind of just assuming or guessing that it probably does?
The last time I checked, it was indexing. We use Helium 10 Index Checker to check that stuff, and we have someone on that all the time looking at it.
Okay.
As I think you do too. You're checking to make sure you're indexed for various keywords.
I think we might have dropped that out, to be honest, with all the stuff happening. But
what I wanted to emphasize is that if you have 6 different colors, you can take this color and focus on, like, for instance, say you have I don't want to be sexist or anything like that, but say you have a blue one that would maybe appeal more to a male audience. Yeah. So you could focus on things to do with dad and your brothers and male related keywords. And you have the pink one, for instance, that might appeal to more to a female audience. You could focus more on feminine keywords for that one. Or say,
and you're doing that. So in the just the description, or other back-end places, or you like where you put the changes?
I like to make all the titles different.
Okay.
And focus on different keywords and actually launch them for different opportunities. And the way I look at it, back when we did SEO, we used to have thousands of websites, and we would put thousands of pages on each site.
Yeah.
And it wasn't uncommon to make $500 to $1,000 a day per URL or per domain name. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, we could just crank
That's
these
a lot of money.
Yeah, we're doing really well. At one time, we were consistently doing 200,000 unique visitors a day to our network of sites.
Wow.
And the way we did it was casting a really broad net. So if there are related keywords, like say you're selling something to do with some sort of tool, right?
Yep.
And it's a hammer.
Yep.
Well, what are tools that people use that are related to hammers? They might have a tape measure, and they might have this, and they might have that. Or they might need a metric. Like there's keywords to do with tools. For instance, there's metric, and there's imperial, and there's inches, and there's quarter inch, 3/8, all these these are all keywords that can be related to your product.
Yeah, a very small tape measure, thin tape measure, thick tape measure, whatever, right?
Yeah, all these things. And then sometimes in different markets, there's nicknames for things.
Yes.
And then what you can do though is find out what's the most popular keywords, and then say one group you can only squeeze that many into a title, right? Well, you could focus your red variation on those keywords, and then take your blue variation and whatever other group that you can put in the title of those ones, and then really focus your advertising on these things and your launches in terms of giveaways and those types of things on those ones. And if you're in a category where the reviews get shared across your variations, then you're totally doing yourself a disservice by not doing variations.
Yeah, I agree. Now, that's very interesting. I think I'm going to try that because I know on one product, well, our title has been so good and I don't want to change it, but it has color variations. And I know like one or two keywords where we're not ranking so well, although we are the bestseller on that product, because it's on the title.
Right.
So maybe one of the colors has it, and then that'll be instant ranking. So that's a good... I thought that Amazon said like all the children have to have the same title or something.
Well, what happens is when you create a parent, if say you have 5 color variations and then you try to create a parent that's going to group these together, as soon as you create that title and pull these 5 in, the parent title is actually going to write over top of your children ones. Okay. It's going to take the parent title and it's going to...
not for my category though. Okay. So it's a little, maybe it's different. On yours, you don't even see you only see the parent in that case.
Right. And that's the arbitrary thing is that not every category on Amazon uses the same structure, which is interesting. It gives you different advantages in different categories, which is interesting.
So for the category you're in, you put the parent, that's what shows up when you're actually on the page, except they have like maybe a comma and then put the color at the very end, or not even that.
Well, the children, we'll take the parent. Like if you create the children first and then you create the parent afterwards, what happens is the parent title gets copied over and then it'll put the color right at the end for each of the children. Okay. But what you can do is then you can go in and edit each child title. And in my category, the child title is not visible to the user unless they put it in the cart. So what I do is I put the first few keywords of the first few words in the title of that product. I try to make it fairly descriptive, so that once someone adds it to the cart or they've purchased it and they're looking back at their orders, they can clearly see what they purchased. But then the balance of the, say, 200 characters, if you're allowed to do that, I'll put really keyword-rich title in there, and I'll have them different across all the variations so that you're covering a really broad net of keywords across all your different variations. Whereas a lot of people... In fact, by default, people have the same title across all the variations, except maybe the color or the size. And then on top of that, if you look at the bullet points and the description, well, you can't always see the description, but the bullet points will usually be the same across all the variations. Whereas you can mix these things up.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah. And so let's take it back. So let's walk back to 2015. You made a first product. That product did not sell. It kind of sold a little in Christmas. What about that second product?
It was a runaway success, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and we really struggled to keep it in stock.
Okay, yeah. I like those stories. Those are nice.
We started out actually packaging this product in our garage, so that was kind of funny. And we only had one color variation, and then, it was just a progression. So, and the thing is like, people think that Amazon's saturated, and it is saturated. There's a lot of products out there. Yeah. But what I was going to say is that you and I are launching products all the time. We're doing it successfully. So if you have the know-how down, you can come into a new market and, whether there's an established product there with 1,000 reviews or not,
That's
you
right.
can come in there and you can carve your bit of the market up.
Absolutely. My personal opinion is that it's the opposite of saturated. Saturated is like, I'm gonna go try and sell, I don't know, let's say a water bottle at Walmart. Okay, Walmart or Target, those are saturated. That little freezer box with the water bottles, there is no way you're gonna get in that freezer unless you do like some crazy marketing like Red Bull or something. Like, that's what I call saturated. Those guys have deals. You have to know the right person. That's saturated. How much clothes you get at Target, and the space is so limited. For me, Amazon is the opposite of saturated because there's so much selection and you can do something different and you will automatically get shelf space.
Right.
You have a free opening with shelf space that you could pay a couple of ads and go to the top. And someone's going to see your product.
Right.
For you to even have one person see your product at a Target, you got to have a bunch of money.
Right.
Money up. I mean, like, you have to do so much. So in my opinion, Amazon is grossly unsaturated. I don't know. That's what I see.
Like, the barrier to entry to get into any business other than Amazon or maybe SEO or something like where you're making affiliate sites. There are low-cost ways to get going. You know, if someone wants to make YouTube videos and be an affiliate for products, that's a great way to go too. I mean, there's so many ways to make money online. If you're not thinking about ways to make money online, you're really kind of losing out on an opportunity, because we're maybe 20 years into the internet right now, but apparently 5G's coming out soon, which, you know, it's got some mixed reviews from a health perspective, perhaps. But in terms of the bandwidth and the features that we're going to see, in change lies opportunity. So, you know, right now we're in a terrible bear market, in my opinion, with the economy. But what's happened is a lot of people have been driven online to shop because of shutdowns and this and that. So, and a lot of retail is going out of business. Unfortunately, I don't like this.
No,
it's made a huge opportunity for us.
Yeah, for us and for anybody, let's say, listening to this, or anybody who's thinking about starting Amazon. And it's funny, you mentioned this, the 5G. Well, you know, Jeff Bezos just got approved or just put a bunch of money to make internet from satellites just like a few days ago. So he's going to create internet-based satellites that will bring internet to the whole world, because it's freaking it's totally agnostic of any physical hardware. Like, a satellite beams your internet down and you got internet.
Wow.
If that works out, let's just say, do you think more people will shop on Amazon? Jeff Bezos owns internet he can give anywhere, or less people will shop on Amazon?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, it's unbelievable. Now, one thing I want to point out to anybody here is you had experience, right, in the online world, or let's even computers, both, right, from before this, and you've had a really massive success. I've had a very good success, and I was in software. So I feel that people who love or even know about or like or have a tendency to, let's say, algorithms or numbers or computers, have an advantage on Amazon.
Right.
So if you fit in that, you have a great opportunity to sell on Amazon. But there's also those people who know nothing. Like you said, the person that you saw, like, hey, they don't know about computers, and here they are with a great success. And I've seen several people like that too.
Right. Yeah, these courses, I think, do a great job of breaking it down. Even if, in my opinion, the number one most important skill in business success is sales, and the ability to persuade someone to your point of view. In this case, it would be buying your product right now, or at least, you know, considering it for adding it to the cart. So sales, in fact, in my first business too, that was the big key, was selling, because I had to sell websites. We had to sell SEO packages to clients. And then we switched the model where we actually just driving the traffic and getting affiliate commissions. And affiliate commission is a great way to go. Like, you can even do it with Amazon. You'll see, if you ever typed into to Google or any search engine, like best blah.
Best spatula.
Yeah, best spatula. And then you'll see these sites,
articles.
these articles that say, like, the top 10 spatulas. And then these people, what they'll do is they're just positioning information and getting a small commission for promoting those products.
That's right.
And that's really easy to do. You can do that with video. You can do, like, there's just so many ways to make money online. And with the transition, where I think we haven't seen anything yet. Like,
yes, that is so true.
We're going to see such a transition.
We are in the baby phases. Funny, I started trying to be an Amazon affiliate before I did Amazon.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2012 or 2013, I quit. I had no job.
Wow.
I had nothing. And I'm like, told my wife, I said, I'm gonna make money online. Yeah. So then I created these websites, and I followed a course using a software called the Longtail Pro. I made no money. I mean, basically what happened, I was terrible. Okay, I was slacking off half the day because I'm like, I had to write these articles, had to make these blogs. I'm like confused. I made a blog, I wrote a thing. I'm like, oh, I have writer's block right now. Then I would go and like play a video game, and then like, oh no, I have to be working. I have a wife, I have to make money. Like, oh no, and then I was wasting a lot of time doing a bunch of garbage, and I was floundering for 2 to 3 months. In the end, I made about $150 a month.
Wow,
it was horrible. It was absolutely one of the worst things that happened. So why bring that up? It's easy to make money online, but some ways are way easier than others. I have tried at least 3 times to make money being an affiliate, and I failed like miserably, like so bad where I was like, damn, okay, I gotta go get a job, and I'm gonna go and like get a 9 to 5 and like do this, and I went that route because I was so bad at whatever, following the system. I had the wrong course, the wrong thing. I was listening to I think this guy's awesome. Pat Flynn, have you heard of him? Okay, so Smart Passive Income. That was like I read his article. I was like, I'm gonna be a millionaire, like related doing affiliates, and I crashed and burned.
Okay.
Why? I'm saying that because I did terrible at that. It was really bad. But when I did Amazon, it was so easy.
Right.
The first, I'm maybe a rarity. Our first product is #1 bestseller now. The first product that we picked. Right. My wife and I, and it was so much easier than affiliate marketing. So it's like, even if you've had failures on affiliate marketing, don't give up, because if I thought affiliate marketing was the only way to make money, I literally would be broke, and I would still be programming because I sucked terribly.
Yeah, a lot of people will. Russell Brunson's got a lot of good stuff out there, like Expert Secrets, and what's the other book? Like
.com Secrets. Yeah.
You know, you can just position yourself as an expert and put a lot of content out there and have mini courses and seminars and all kinds of things. Like,
I suck at that. It's hard. And even now, I've sold millions. I've sold even actually 2 millions of people, or maybe we're in the 1.8 million customers or something on Amazon. So when I have like a big reach with the brand, and I'm like now taking these baby steps and like getting affiliate or getting any money from somebody off Amazon is like so much harder for me.
Yeah, it's just a different game. Like in our first business, when we were doing SEO, we were really good at that. And we were super affiliates, and we used to make a lot of money from Google directly, actually putting their ads on our pages. And
like Google AdSense?
Yeah, Google AdSense. Okay. We used to get about 10% click-through rate on our ads, which is just unheard of. And it was because it was so...
How did you do? What's the trick? I know we're like so off Amazon, but I want to know.
Well, I mean, we're kind of like Google spammers, really.
Okay.
We were putting up low value content and just putting the ads right above the fold where they're really visible.
So is that like the kind of sites? I've been to sites that say you type in a domain name wrong, and then it's just like this domain name, and it's basically like a menu of things, and you just click on it. The site is nothing.
I mean, we're a little bit more stealth than that, but that's the concept, where the ads are right in your face right there. But we'd make it look like it was part of the navigation. It was really...
Those tricks, that's good.
Anyway, so that was that. But my license plate at the time was CLK PMP, Click Pimp.
Okay.
That's what our game was. We were just all about getting traffic from Google and
Craig the Click Pimp,
pimping it out. But now you really have to create a connection with your customer on Amazon. Yeah. You have to make them feel like your brand is worthwhile. Like these Chinese sellers come in, and thankfully they don't know the American consumer that well. Even the brand name will be way off the mark.
I've seen some pretty bad brand names for sure.
Yeah, and then they'll do a lot of 3D render images where it's all photoshopped basically. It's not realistic. Yeah, and then just even the grammar is wrong. Where there's spelling mistakes.
And some of them even like that still do well. Have you seen that? Like some person they're listing like really bad, has like everything's Google Translate. The name is like Ching Wang, and I'm not saying if you're Chinese you should hide it. It's no problem having a Chinese name, but with all misspellings everywhere, poor images, and I've seen even sellers like that sell millions a month.
Right, and they're probably got really good pricing because they're coming direct from China with no middleman like us. Yep. And then also, they're probably gaming the system somehow, doing something a little bit black hat or aggressive.
Okay, could be. I've seen though. Here's what I see in terms of market and how we've been kind of picking products. there's every once in a while a product that there's such a good space for you to have a product and do well. Because let's say there's maybe only one seller selling that product. He's selling a lot and the price is extremely high. And if you go in and even if your listing is not good. That's a unicorn
right there.
Yeah. But it's more common, I think, than people realize.
Right. And then sometimes people will just have blinders to that too. Or that company might, in the case of this new product I'm doing, this company does have a patent on the product. Okay. So I think having a patent does scare away a lot of sellers where they don't even take the time to do the due diligence to hire a lawyer and say, well, it sure is patented, but is it a design patent? Is it a utility patent?
Yeah, what is the workaround? Because a design patent, literally, it's like, not legal advice, is okay, it's shaped this round. If you have the round thing, but then it has like a little bulge here or something, or it's like a square or whatever, you can sell it.
It gets visually different.
Yeah. It's literally that. It's like, okay, that's very easy to get around. Right. So yes, and that's one product like that we've launched that done very well.
And then utility patents are pretty hard to enforce from what I can tell because they're also very specific also.
Not anymore. I mean, I'll tell you this program, I recently ran into one that got shut down through that.
Wow.
And I found out, and that the patent I don't think is actually valid because they filed it after more than a year after they were selling it. Right. That's a whole legal thing. And I have like a little legal course that I've been building on our website. Okay. But after, like, if you start selling the product, you have 1 year to file.
Oh, right. That's right.
So they filed like a year and a half, 2 years later, but they still shut us down. But then to fight it.
Yeah, so they got the patent approved
through the U.S. Trademark Patent Office.
Because when the patent got approved, there was no evidence that it had been sold for more than a year.
They didn't. There was evidence, but
it was not.
No one's gonna look. Yeah, of course. So that's part of the shadiness is where someone could just submit it to the patent office. Those guys are swamped. The U.S. Trademark and Patent Office right now is swamped because they have so many people submitting trademarks for Amazon. They're not equipped for it, so they're just doing a really fast job and not actually like trying to find out if that's there. So it's very easy to get something approved to the the USPTO. Right. Very easy. So people just approve it, and even if it's not valid, you could still get shut down. I do say, if the utility patent, change the product. Don't make it the same because it is becoming increasingly easier. This program that I'm talking about is more prevalent, and utility patents are definitely enforced now. Right. And even, I mean, you shouldn't just break the law. So,
right. Something to do with law, though. We're doing a new brand right now in a whole different seller account. And we use what's called the IP Accelerator program. Yes. Are you familiar with that? So just to get the trademark application rolling quicker and to get the brand registry benefits before it even becomes an active trademark.
Did you already do that? You went through that process already?
Yeah. So we're able to use the A+ content, the video, all these bells and whistles that most sellers don't until they actually get the approved trademark. Perfect. By doing IP Accelerator.
And it took like 10 days, right? After you filed, and you get like
super fast. Like, it was about 10 days. About 10 days, to get the application through and then get brand registry, maybe 2 weeks or something.
Perfect. And by the way, that's to get to that, all you do is in the menu, I believe under reports or something like that, there's a place that says like services, and you click on there, and then you can set trademark services, and you can do it. It's like in the menu. You just go in the menu.
All I know is I think there's actually this might be Amazon.com/IP Accelerator. Okay. IP Accelerator.amazon.com. Or just Google search for
IP Accelerator Amazon. You'll find it.
Yeah, exactly. Come across it. And it was a very good service. Awesome. I mean, there is the risk that down the line, someone might challenge the application, and we don't get
chances
approved.
Are pretty low.
Yeah. But that's the downfall, is that now you got all this product and branding for this trademark that you didn't get approved. So that's the downside.
Good point. Okay, so what happened? How long did you sell before, let's say, you came full time and you left, your other business or other job or whatever you're doing, the brand stuff?
Yeah, I'd say 6 months.
6 months. Wow. Yeah. That's fast. Is it because it took off so much, or because the other business just wasn't doing so well?
Yeah, the other business was just a difficult thing. Like, just like you, I've had my own failures in business too. We're not here preaching like we're,
we don't get it right the first time. No, definitely not.
So yeah, I've had two businesses. One of them was pretty much an outright failure, and then another that was just moderately successful. Like it was paying the bills, kind of, like this reputation management stuff.
Yeah.
But then Amazon was just clearly the way.
Wow. So 6 months, and you had those two products. The one that kind of you had for a little bit discontinued. The other product that took off. How much do you know your numbers, like the revenue, like say first year or like 6 months in or whatever?
I don't recall, actually. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I know us for, I believe, our first
I
year.
think in year 2 we might have done 500,000.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay, I think that's exactly like about what we did. So 2016.
In gross.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, good.
That rings a bell.
Good.
But last year we're, in the millions.
Yeah.
This year we may be in the 8-figure zone. So
Nice. Very nice.
That would be exciting.
Woo! Guys, Craig, okay, perfect example of going from a couple of, or failing and kind of failing business, okay? And we didn't go into the SEO. How the SEO stuff? That sounded like that was very profitable.
That was a cash cow. We made millions of dollars profit doing that.
And then it crashed at some point.
It kind of just, the business model just evaporated pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. So one business that was freaking killer, okay, and then crashed to nothing. Another failed business. Another half, like barely like paying the bills business. Spending more time, not like a freedom business. You have you're a slave to the business.
It was a grind for sure.
A grind. On Amazon, within 6 months, being able to go full time into this. I kept my job for like 2 years.
Wow.
I kept my job for 2 years because I didn't know the thing was going to disappear. Right. But let's say 6 months to 2 years. That's pretty fast. Most people starting a business, some businesses aren't even profitable for 5-10 years or fail. Or
and if you look at the startup costs of a restaurant or resale store or anything like that, like Amazon is basically a pretty simple business, especially you can get started with one product.
That's true.
And your supply chain is really simple, your inventory, all that kind of stuff is super easy. Gets a little more complex as you get different colors going or different products.
Yes.
But it's all
as you learn,
right.
It gets more complex as you learn. You do more stuff. The original thing you did does not get more complex.
Right. I was pretty much a one-man show for the first several years also. So I was still making really, really good money just basically doing everything myself. And it wasn't until actually October of last year, so less than a year.
2019 or 2018?
19. Where I actually hired someone in an office here in Florida to work with me. Because up to that point, I just had like 1 or 2 virtual assistants in the Philippines. And it's pretty limited what you can do with someone on a long distance kind of situation. Okay. But now we have an office here with 5 executives and then other people in the Philippines.
Boom, making jobs. USA. Okay.
Anyway, it's just, you can scale this at your own pace. The reason I didn't grow faster was because I just didn't really want to take on more people here in the United States and have that responsibility level and, the human resource headaches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what I did was I hired a really good general manager and I put people on compensation programs where, we have 1% of gross profit that gets split up for bonuses every week. Okay. So it really keeps people focused on the bottom line.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Interesting structure.
Well, it's calculated every week. It's paid out every 2 weeks. Okay. So every week they know what the bonus is going to be for that week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And with a pretty small team, they are very much can influence their own.
Exactly. Okay. Yep. And so that's been really successful. In my first business, that was something that I had huge success with. 1 year we did 7.7 million revenue. This is Canadian dollars because I was in Canada at the time, but we grossed 7.7 million. We netted about 3 million.
Woo! That's some money.
And then we paid out in bonuses close to $1 million though.
Wow, that is amazing.
So and I'd never seen a more motivated group of people they'd show up to work at 7 a.m. honestly, and they would stay till like 4:30 or whatever.
I want to ask you one question.
Sure.
Which is for all these guys that are selling on Amazon already, maybe they're not doing quite as much as you.
Okay.
Right? Which is like 99% of Amazon sellers. Now, for those guys, what would you say, what is the biggest mistake you see that Amazon sellers have done for people to avoid?
Wow. That's a tough question to answer. The biggest problem or the biggest mistake they're making? Wow. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that adding video is huge. Okay. Doing video ads is huge. Headline search ads can be huge. Just basically pushing the envelope as much as they can. Maybe hiring someone professional to do PPC or getting a really good software to do PPC.
What kind of software? I'm just kidding. No.
Heard of that stuff. Anyway, so really pushing it, maybe getting more color variations, varying up your titles and your keywords across your variations, these types of things. And then just being really aggressive. I mean, not in terms of breaking the rules, in terms of
Oh yeah,
reviews and
aggressive
stuff
is
like
in like spend on ads,
Mhm.
spend on those things. So,
Right.
actually, so do you know how much, let's say, of your total revenue is spent on ads?
Yeah. Roughly about, well, it varies. Right now we're going really aggressive in
Yeah.
the last week, and it jumped to 16%, which
Okay.
is terrible.
Okay.
But we are oftentimes right around 10%.
Okay. Yeah. So, so now I think that's a good thing. So in terms of being aggressive, if you guys are spending less than 10% on ads, that's something where we spend 10% if we're like running out of stock only. Pretty much, we always want to spend around 15.
Wow.
We're like we want to spend 15.
Yeah.
Because that's how for our own company. So I see, one thing you're mentioning is be aggressive. So yes, spend on ads, guys. And there's a tool called Samurai Seller that could help you with that. No, but okay, so 10%. And last year was that similar, around 10 or 12?
Yeah, in that neighborhood.
Okay. I do see that in people who don't want to spend on ads. And also, what about knowing the numbers?
Yeah,
what about that one?
Yeah, I guess that's probably the biggest mistake I think people make is they don't know their profit. And a lot of guys will be bragging about their top line or revenue numbers.
Yep.
And they're not so focused on the bottom line.
Yep.
So I think really focusing on, making sure that you're profitable. We clear about 30% net.
That's spectacular. I mean, it's one of the higher ones I've seen for Amazon,
right.
Which is amazing.
Now, this year with all the staff and the office and stuff, it may be a little less, but I think it's still going to be strong because we're getting a lot more volume pushed through.
Yes.
So that's, almost unheard of with most businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes it easy when you go into a product that has high margin is that you don't run into cash flow problems as much. And you can order several months of inventory without really worrying about it too much.
Sure. So what about that? How did you happen to pick such a high margin product?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with getting what you were saying earlier is where you find a successful product that's selling for a really good price and where there's maybe only one or two competitors in that space and getting in there and being the first one to do it right from an Amazon perspective and really just corner that market and get the most reviews and get the most sales velocity and the best rankings so that you are the number one seller by and large on Amazon for that product. Yeah. And then you can afford to charge premium prices because you're perceived to be a higher value because you have more reviews. Everything about your listing looks more quality. And obviously you have to focus on product quality too. We're continually improving a product just like you are. We're listening to people's reviews and making sure that we address those issues.
That's great. And what was your product selection process? I believe you start with Amazing Selling Machine. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you just follow that criteria. Did you do something different than kind of just the old guidelines?
I mean, for the first product, we followed that to a T.
The one that failed?
Exactly. And that's interesting. The second product and our first home run product was actually just a hunch, honestly. I had seen this product before and used it and loved it. And no one was actually selling it on Amazon.
Nobody was selling it on Amazon?
Not this specific. They were selling something similar, but not this exact model. So that was like easy. And then the second product that's been a home run, I just happened to be out in the street one night and saw this product in action. I was like, that is cool. That's going to be popular.
Wow.
I'm going to be the number one seller of that product on Amazon.
And you were?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And then similar with the other product we just launched this in July, it's just a cool product. And there's only one other company doing this product. And
it's selling?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're like 100 units a day right now.
Nice. Beautiful. That's awesome. So here's the thing, and people don't understand that Amazon is a business like a normal business, right? Who would have known like that iPods would have been a thing? He didn't do market research and was like, this product is going to sell. Like, he's like, I'm going to do it for whatever reason. So it's interesting because this is a very unconventional product selection strategy you have.
Right.
Just kind of wing it. I mean, I don't know. If,
I think the best thing to be as a business owner is to look for problems and try to find solutions.
Yeah.
Or look for holes in the market or opportunities. Just be open for opportunity. And if you see an opportunity, look further into it and see if you can actually capitalize on it.
That's amazing.
Because it's not always just based on who's already succeeding with this product. You can take a product that's really unique and, really focus it as a birthday gift for 5-year-old kids or something like that. Yeah. So just because it's, what are the pogo stick or something?
Yeah. Oh, I love pogo sticks. Okay.
It doesn't just corner you into just the pogo stick market. That might be great for 7-year-old girls or whatever the demographic is. It can be a birthday present. There's all of these things you can
target. You can sell to different people and get different attention.
Yeah, I would say that's a big mistake people do is they think of their product as a widget and they focus it as a widget.
Yeah.
And they don't think of all these other ways that people could be looking for that. A lot of people buy gifts, a lot of people buy presents. So how can you repurpose your product across all these keywords so that maybe you're only getting 1 or 2 sales across these specific keywords per day, but collectively you're making a lot more sales.
That's very true. And when you said that the second product you launched, that was a great success, and although it didn't follow the same numbers or whatnot, or there was nobody selling it, is that what we said? Nobody selling that model.
Right.
What about that product of different models? Did you check that market out or not?
Not really. I just knew that, it was a popular product in general.
Wow.
And
okay.
Yeah, it was like the first 2 home runs, actually, and even this third one we just did, and even the fourth one.
Okay.
They're just, I identify things that look like really great products and just decide I'm going to be the number 1 seller of those on Amazon. And then we just go after it and make it happen.
Wow. So again, that's totally not what we do. Well, I have done that before actually, and those products are successful. So I take it back. But it's definitely something that is not going to be taught in almost any course because...
Right. Everyone wants to know the numbers.
Yeah, tell me the numbers. Tell me this. So it's like, people don't want to hear that, but you see something that could sell well, people will like. That is very valid. Now, don't mistake. He did say he knew the product was popular. So don't say like, I'm going to sell a nail clipper that also scratches your nose or something like that, where nobody buys that thing. That's one mistake I've seen. So I just want to make sure people don't get confused in this.
Right.
It is a product that people are buying a lot of, but maybe that model was different, or like you just thought that one was cool, but it's not something that's not popular.
Here's another opportunity, in my opinion, is you can take someone who's selling a widget that's really popular and then do like a red widget, a blue widget, just be the one that's got 6 colors of that thing.
Yeah.
And just hammer it out and then hit different keywords across different ones, launch them for different keywords. And collectively, they all work together to get that BSR. Like the BSR or bestseller rate.
Yeah.
I know you know that.
Of course. Of course.
Is for the parent, like all the children together. So, and they all work in this, like I look at a parent-child variation of all these color variations as like this team.
Yes.
That's pushing your listing into success. And they might focus on different keywords. They might have different markets for them. And then all collectively, they push your BSR up high. So you're on these bestseller lists. You get a bestseller badge. It's the way to go.
You need a big team. I have seen that. I agree with that 100%. I like that analogy.
Big team in terms of the products, not necessarily the people on your team.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like your blue is your quarterback. Your red is your whatever. I'm not into sports very much, but you have a team. You have the short baseman. I don't know. I don't even know these freaking things. I want to get into sports, but let's say basketball, you have 5 players, so you have those 5 guys. Yes. If you only had 1 player, you got 1 guy, and he's going to play out against the 5 teams. So the team members of your child variations, think of it as a team. I really like that analogy because I have seen that they do much better together. Especially
if the number 1 seller only has 1 variation. You can come in there and do all different colors and hammer them.
That's a crazy secret. That's really, that is really, really helpful, by the way, guys, if you haven't done it. Just if you're in my category, just don't do it. So, okay, awesome. Craig, I really appreciate your time. So happy to have you here. And we'll forego the hugs and the handshakes for the times that we're in now. But super glad to have you.
Great. Thanks very much. Take care.